What is up, guys? Rick is here, and it's Saturday, so it's time to go over some more amazing community designed exotics for Destiny. Now, this is the only place that lets you submit your exotic weapon or armor idea and have realistic concepts made from them. That's because I've partnered with the artist Benjamin Radiman, who makes these amazingly realistic exotic concepts. His art station is going to be linked in the description down below. You should definitely check it out after the video. Now, in today's video, we're going to be going over 5 featured exotics that were submitted from the comment section of last week's video. We're then at the end of the video going to shout out all of the different exotics that got made this last week. But before then, I'm going to go over the proper way to submit your exotic idea and some tips for getting selected. Now let's get started here with the Silver Siren exotic hand cannon concept by Executor Hideous. Now this weapon has 2 unique perks. Firstly, a passive perk called Aphrodite Charm. A random bullet in the magazine has a chance to freeze enemies in place for a short time. This is coupled with the exotic perk Siren Song. Continuous damage from this weapon gradually slows targets. Now I wanted to go over this weapon because these ideas kind of come up a lot, the idea of freezing and slowing targets. And it's a very interesting one because it's something that really hasn't been done in Destiny as of late, so it's really hard to kind of tell if this would be overpowered or if this would fit perfectly into the game. It's just hard to know. Now for the first passive perk, freezing a target, well, that really depends on whether you're actually freezing the target and they can't move at all and they can't shoot and they can't do anything, in which case that's going to be pretty insanely powerful, verging on overpowered just with that. However, if it just stops the enemy from moving and lets them still maybe turn around and still shoot back at you, they just can't run away, that's a little bit more interesting, that's a little bit more fair, and it won't necessarily be as overpowered. It's definitely a very interesting idea, and again, it's never been done before, so it's hard to tell how this idea would really work, but just stopping an enemy entirely and letting you just go to town on their head, for example, just seems very, very powerful. The exotic perk, however, Siren Song, I really like this idea for a perk. The fact that as you do more and more damage from this weapon, the target was slow. So if you only get 2 shots off on an enemy in PvP, they're going to be a little bit slower and they're going to maybe jump not as high, and if they're trying to run away from you, they're going to be hindered in their ability to do that, which could give you a slight advantage. Of course, for PvE, this also comes up quite a lot. There's a lot of enemies, I can think of Malik, for example, who runs from one side of the map to the other. It would be great to just keep shooting him with this gun and have that run turned into a slow walk, and that's going to really let you get more damage on that enemy. This would actually be an extremely useful ability in PvE. Now the next concept we're going over is the Silencer exotic sniper rifle concept by Beastie4257. This weapon yet again has 2 unique perks. It has the main perk Escape Artist. Landing a precision kill will boost speed for 10 seconds. The exotic perk is called the Silencer. Landing a precision kill will make all of your movement, weapon fire, and abilities silent for 10 seconds. Now both of the perks on this weapon are very well designed to work together to really help the user of this weapon out. You have the one perk making you run faster, making you move faster after landing a precision kill, but just running away sometimes isn't good enough. So the second exotic perk is going to make that precision kill also silence your movement speed, silence your weapon fire, and silence your abilities, letting you actually escape from the enemies that are likely chasing you at that point. It really lets you use this weapon in a very hit and run stealth sniper role, letting you go up to an advantageous position, get some shots off, kill some enemies, and then when they know where you are, run away silently and reposition, which really just more fits the traditional sniper role. Now these abilities are clearly centered towards PvP, but I do like this weapon. I think that there's a lot of people out there who this would perfectly fit their playstyle. They don't like to run up to the enemies and try to quickscope everyone with a 1,000-yard stare or an LDR. They do like to stay back, they like to get a few shots off, get a few kills, and then retreat back and reposition when the enemies know where they are and are looking for them, and I think this sniper would fit perfectly with that playstyle. Now the next concept we're going over is the Caesar Solution exotic auto rifle concept by Waffle on a Kite. This crazy looking weapon has a passive exotic perk called Veni Vidi Vici. Landing 3 headshots grants a round back into the magazine. Each kill refills the magazine and adds an additional 3 rounds, stacks up to 5 times, and lasts until death. So this weapon is really focused on increasing your killing potential by removing essentially almost entirely the ability to reload. Every time you get a kill, it's going to refill your magazine. I'm not entirely in favor of that. I think that's pretty insane. I would say maybe refill half or a quarter of your magazine, but other than that, I think that this gun would work pretty well. In PvP, this weapon would not be overpowered even with the ability reloading your entire magazine upon a kill. That's simply because, you get into a lot of gunfights in PvP where reloading doesn't make a difference. You have full ammo, the enemy has full ammo, and you just fight it out. And sometimes you win and sometimes they win. And so there's going to be a lot of times when you're using this weapon and you have this incredibly large magazine, but that doesn't really matter. You're basically still using a normal auto rifle at that point, and therefore it's likely that you're just going to lose a gunfight, die, and have to start refilling your magazine all over again. Don't get me wrong, the ability is still a useful one, and again, basically eliminating the fact that you have to reload your weapon is definitely an advantage. However, I see this gun being used a lot more in PvE. In PvE, it matters a lot more. Reloading takes away your damage over time, so reloading is definitely more of an issue in PvE, and taking away that entirely pretty much, or even if it only reloaded half the magazine, it would still be incredibly good. That would still be a very powerful force to be reckoned with, because you're able to get continuous damage on the target. Because again, we're not talking about damage per second necessarily, we're not talking about doing as much damage as quickly as you can, which matters in PvP. We're talking about, damage over time, damage over 20 seconds continuous damage on a boss, for example, and being able to never have to reload or shoot the boss continuously, switch over, kill a thrall, refill your entire magazine, and go back to the boss without ever stopping. Just your damage output is going to be substantial, and again, that weapon is going to be very useful in a PvE environment. Moving on, the next exotic concept is the Electrician exotic shotgun concept by Cason Duncan. The exotic perk is called Electrical. While sliding, this weapon has a higher rate of fire and greater range. Precision kills decrease your reload speed. Now, precision kills making you reload faster, that's just an added bonus, but the meat of this exotic right here would definitely be that sliding is going to increase your rate of fire, so potentially you can even get 2 shots off while you're sliding, and it's going to increase your range. That is going to be the key factor in how this exotic is used, because definitely the strategy when using this weapon in PvP especially, and PvE as well, is to slide before shooting your target. That is again going to extend your range and really increase your killing potential. So that's very interesting, right? Being able to slide, increase your range, and get some maybe insane shots with this shotgun. Now, the factor that prevents it from being overpowered is definitely the fact that you have to slide. If you think about a PvP match, there is a lot of times when you're not sliding, when you're in the air, jumping away or jumping towards a target after you've blinked. You are not going to be able to slide in every engagement. So that really kind of makes this weapon very interesting. I think it's kind of the balancing factor, is it just doesn't always increase the range, it's only when you're sliding. And as long as that range increase isn't ridiculous so it takes over the Crucible, I think that this shotgun would be a very interesting and very awesome addition to Destiny. Now moving on, the last exotic concept we're going over today is a little special. It is the Titan exotic sniper rifle concept by Benjamin Radaman himself. This insanely cool looking sniper rifle was actually derived from this concept art. And I think that's a pretty spot on recreation. The exotic perk of this weapon is called Titan. This weapon gains armor-piercing rounds. Precision kills with this weapon make the next shot in the magazine faster to shoot and also travel faster to targets. However, sniper rifle rounds travel pretty much instantaneously to targets, so that would be kind of useless, but the fact that it is going to increase rate of fire for the remaining rounds of the magazine is quite useful, and armor-piercing rounds is also quite interesting. For a sniper rifle, there aren't many anymore, at least, that have armor-piercing rounds, and it would definitely be awesome to be able to shoot through targets, shoot through like light cover and kill the pesky hunter with his invisibility crouching with a shotgun behind it. But the main reason we're going over this weapon is because it looks just so damn cool. Bungie, come on, make this concept art a real sniper in Destiny. Now that's it for the featured exotics we're going over today. Before we go over all of the exotics that were created this week, we're going to talk about the way to properly submit your exotic idea and some tips for getting selected. So how you submit your idea, all you need to do is reply to the thread of the comment I will leave in the comment section of this video. So I will leave a comment saying, reply with your exotic idea here, and it then goes on to list a bunch of stuff you should include in your submission. These threads are the only place that Benjamin is going to look when he's deciding which exotics to pick. So don't just post your idea to other random comments to the normal comment section. It has to be in reply to this thread that I'm talking about. Now, thread number 1 will fill up with the 500 response limit pretty quickly, in which case I will make a thread number 2 as quickly as possible. Benjamin does look at both threads, so don't think if you're in thread number 2 that you have no chance of being selected. Now, if I'm a little late with making thread number 2, just hit me up on my Twitter at @RickHackis, and I'll be there as quickly as possible to make thread number 2. Now, I have 2 tips for getting selected. The first one is try to make sure that your weapon isn't overpowered. If it increases damage without some sort of reasonable downside, then it's probably overpowered. If it gives you an overshield when you get a kill, it's going to be overpowered. So make sure that your idea isn't just ridiculously overpowered and your perk doesn't offer some insane benefit with no downside or balancing factor whatsoever. Now, the second tip is make sure your idea could be realistically put into Destiny. Turning yourself into a bear after getting a kill sounds like a really cool idea, but it's never going to actually make it into Destiny, so make sure your ideas are realistic. And lastly, time to shout out all of the creations this week, starting with the Silver Hoof exotic machine gun concept by Benjamin Radiman himself, the Steel Wolf exotic auto rifle concept, again by Benny R. Then we have the Sheriff exotic hand cannon concept by Executor Hideous. We then have the Atheon's Epitaph exotic auto rifle concept by Zach Shoot. We have the Black Mamba exotic sniper rifle concept by Keiz Miyazaki. The Cobra exotic scout rifle concept by Rohit. The Gigabyte exotic heavy rifle concept by John Scarborough. The Aspect of the Hunt exotic Titan gauntlets by Phi Delta. The Firm Negotiator exotic pulse rifle concept by Ashfear37. The Silence Gift exotic hand cannon concept by Ryan Swiggles. The Campaigner exotic auto rifle concept by Benny R. And lastly, the Marksman's Legacy exotic sniper rifle concept by Epic Fail XD123. Now that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, and if you want to support this series, please remember to simply like and especially share this video. It really means a lot to me and Benjamin Radiman. If you want to continue catching this series, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickHackis. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.